It's Rayven Michaels, and it's been a while since I've done a video, and today I wanted to talk about psychic abilities and how everybody has it in them to be psychic. It's not just for the gifted few. It's not for people who've had near-death experiences and bounced back, and now this whole special realm is opened up to them. But everybody has the ability to be psychic. And to help you kind of grasp that concept, especially if you say, well, not me. I'm not psychic. It doesn't work for me. Well, think of it like this. When you were born, you were an infant. You came out of the womb, and you were just a helpless little baby laying on your back. You could be held in your mother's arms. Today, you're a very ambulatory person that moves around, gets around, and I guess mostly I'm talking about people that walk. Obviously, there are some people that were born with disabilities, and they've had to learn to compensate for those disabilities. But the point I'm trying to make here is that to say that you're either born psychic or you're not, you missed the boat if you weren't born psychic. And, you know, you see a lot of biographies done by psychics that says, you know, a born psychic or a born medium. I've always talked to spirits. As a child I did this. As a child I did that. I've always been this way. You know, I didn't have to learn it. It was a gift. It was given to me. Well, I don't know anybody today that claims that walking was a gift. And that because they weren't born with the ability to walk, that they didn't have a right to walk. They can't possibly be a person that can walk and run and jump and hop and all of that because their legs weren't born working that way. They didn't know how to do it. So my point is this. It is my personal position and my philosophy and that of Earth Spirit Soul and my partner Soul S that we are all psychic from the get-go, from the moment. We all have that gift down inside of us. Do we learn to use it? When do we learn to use it? Some people have experiences and life surroundings and environments and family setups that allow that to be nurtured and pop out quickly. Chances are if you're born into a community of artists, you will get to absorb the ability to be artistic because you see it, you absorb it, you comprehend it, you know. Here's another weird way to think about it. We're not born with language. We're all born with the ability, assuming that we're physically, capable. We have vocal cords and all of that. We don't have some kind of physical or health issues. We're all born with the ability to make noise. But we're not born to be Spanish or English or German or whatever. The language that we speak is learned. The ability to speak was born. So just like we're born with the ability for movement and to learn to walk, to run, to jump, we're born with the ability to have speech. We learn to read. There's so many things that we learn to do. So we have the capability within us. How good will we get at it? It depends on how you apply yourself. We're all going to learn to speak whatever language we're most exposed to. And we're going to learn it at the level that those around us use it. If there's street slangs and they go, I'm a-gonna do, I'm a this, or I fixin' to do, or y'all, or yuns, whatever it is that is your colloquial language around you, that's what you'll learn. Now, if you're going to learn proper English, meaning like, how the kind of English you would use to write on a resume or to speak at a public speech or whatever, you learn these things. So for me, and the position, like I said, of Earth Spirit Soul and Soul S is that these gifts that you have everybody talk about, to me, when I hear somebody say, it was a gift, I was born with it, I've always been this way, it means they just simply don't know how they do it. They wouldn't know how to teach another person how to do it. They don't know how to share acquiring the ability. They just know how to share and do what they do. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. But where it crosses the line for me is when they start getting so, I was born with this gift. You know, I'm the real deal. I've been this way all my life. I've always done this. If you weren't born, either you're born with it or you're not. You can't do it if you weren't born with it. Well, I don't believe in that. That simply isn't true. There's too many things that we as human beings learn to accomplish because we have the innate abilities to do it. How well we do it is determined by a number of factors. Our drive, our desire to do it for one thing, and how much practice we put into it. You know, how well do we want to do this thing? And maybe we will cap out. Maybe we do only have certain limits. But then when we start talking about limits, let's say you're an artist and you say, well, I'm no Van Gogh, or I'm no Westerhouse, or I'm no Kincaid, or whatever. Why do you need to be? Kincaid wasn't a Van Gogh, and Van Gogh wasn't a Kincaid, and Westerhouse wasn't either of the other two, and the other two weren't Westerhouse. So my point is, why feel the need to measure yourself against another medium or another psychic and say, because they do it like this and I don't, I'm not as good as they are? You know, if you get a message and that message has meaning for somebody or for yourself, then you did it good enough. You did it good enough. You don't have to be this awesome, wowsome stage presence that gets tons of followers and makes big headlines and woohoo, you know, all that of mediumship is coming to your local town, run and buy a ticket. Maybe that's not your goal. Maybe that's not your purpose. There's a lot of people in this world that run because it makes them feel good, and they're not Olympic gold medal winners, and they're not even in the Olympic arena. But it doesn't mean they're not good runners. It doesn't. Their goal and their purpose is totally different. So don't ever let somebody bog you down and get you slapped down by that old, you know, if you weren't born with it, you have to be born with it. I have gifts. I'm special. I'm the real deal. I know that I'm real because I was born with it. It was a gift. Or I had a near-death experience. When I came back, I had these downloads, and I had this, and I had that. And it's like, oh, do I need to like hang myself and have somebody cut me down so I can become a psychic? I mean, seriously? And I'm not saying that that isn't true, that maybe they did have a psychic experience and it opened them up, you know, and it's true. But all I'm saying is it isn't the only way for it to happen. It might be the way it happened for that person, but it isn't the way it happened for you. And if you don't believe me, go, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube, babies learning their first steps or babies learning to crawl. And although all babies go at it, and some will learn younger and older and have different ways, some will army crawl, some will get up and rock back and forth, they have all kinds of ways of doing it. And one baby doesn't look at another baby and go, hey, you got to do it like this. If you don't do it like this, you're not doing it right, and you're not going to learn to crawl, and you won't be a real crawler because you didn't do it like this. So, you know, I mean, I'm being kind of silly, and I hope I'm being humorous, but at the same time, I'm trying to just let you know that just because you don't feel like you're psychic at the moment, never despair and never believe that you can't be psychic, because you can. You just have to learn your way of being psychic, and you just have to learn to tap into and to trust. Trust is the biggest thing, because society tells us no, you know, and so we have to kind of overcome that. Society makes us fearful of looking stupid and failure, and it's kind of like being psychic isn't about failure, and it's, you need to free yourself from being stupid, because, you know, there's different ways of getting information, and something that might seem silly. One time I was trying to connect to a spirit, and all I kept getting was a big old picture of a lily, and the person that was leading the mediumship circle said, you look puzzled. What are you getting? You're getting a message, right? I'm like, yeah. Well, what are you getting? And I said, well, it's not a person. She said, you don't know that. What are you getting? Tell me, what are you getting? And I said, a lily, a big lily. And she started laughing, and she said, that's my aunt. She frequently comes through to help people that are learning how, because she's very willing. And she said, so yes, you've connected with my Aunt Lily. And I'm kind of like, seriously? So, and so it was a big trust thing. So trust that you are psychic. You are psychic. You just have to open the door of belief, to set aside disbelief, to set aside all that stuff of all the, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, you're not. Set all of that aside and believe that you are psychic, that you can learn to be psychic, and then learn how you are psychic. Learn how you receive messages. Learn who you receive messages from, whether you get them from your guides. And don't even stress about that. Just worry about getting the message and then see where it takes you. So anyway, I hope I've helped you a little bit with ideas about what being psychic is like. This is Rayven Michaels, and I hope you'll come back and watch for more videos on Earth, Spirit, Soul. And be sure to check my channel, Rayven Michaels, and Saul S's channel. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.